Hey guys, I have something that I have been a little hesitant to talk about because I am unsure of how it's gonna come out. And so, but today I'm just feeling overwhelmed with needing to talk to you guys. And so, first of all, I just ask that you watch through the end so you can hear my whole heart in this. And also, just so you know, there's no pressure at all. So I believe 1000% that all of us were created to give, to be givers of our time, of our energy, of our love, of our money, basically all the resources that we have. And the reason I believe that is because we were created in God's image, and God is clearly a giver because He gives all the time. And I have never once met a person who has given any of those resources that I just mentioned and said, oh, I wish I wouldn't have done that. There's something that comes alive in us when we know that what we have been privileged to have a little bit of extra of, whether that's time or money or energy or love or wisdom or whatever, when we are able to share that with those who don't, we become alive in a way that we don't when we don't share those things. And that desire to give has become full force on fire within Bill and I over the last decade. And each year we can see different ways that God is allowing us to give a little bit more. With Bill being home more than he used to be, we are able to give more of our energy and our time. And since I started It Works, we've been able to give a little bit more of our money. And but the little bit more that we've been able to give isn't enough. And okay, I'm so emotional about this. Everywhere I look, there are people who are in need. A friend of mine in Africa, I'm not a pretty crier. A friend of mine in Africa lives on very little. They have adopted many kids and are always taking care of people who are in need, who live on the streets and work on the streets. And they're always giving out of not having much to give, but they give what they have more of. And then recently have taken on 160 refugees. They live on a farm that God has blessed them with in the last few months. And they've taken on 160 people when they don't even have quite enough to take care of their family. And yet they heard God saying, do it, and He will provide. And my dad, he works tirelessly to bring good news to teenagers. I'm going to stop crying. And but in order to he does it through Young Life, but in order to do that, there's a whole lot of fundraising involved. And he has been doing this my entire life. I'm 37, and he has been doing this my entire life. And he lives by faith so often, and God is always providing. But he has to raise a lot of money. I have so many friends and family who are going on mission trips, and that requires raising a lot of money. And everywhere I look, there are people who either literally don't have enough to pay their bills, or maybe they have just enough to pay their bills, but they don't have any extra, so they can't provide extras for their kids. And as a parent, there's something that is really hard when you can't provide any extra for your kids. And I'm not talking about showering them with name brand things. I'm not talking about buying them everything that they want whenever they want. I'm not talking about not teaching them to work for things. We don't, our kids aren't even really allowed to ask us for things. They can tell us that they want to save us their money for stuff. And if we choose to buy it for them or are able to, then we will. But we don't want them to just, get into a habit of asking for things. Anyway, so I'm not talking about spoiling our kids, but I'm talking about just providing a sport or providing a drama club or providing voice lessons or Boy Scouts or whatever, because everything costs money. And everywhere I look, there are people hurting. And this fire that God has fueled in Bill and I over the last few years is just like exploding to be able to give. And I'm on the verge of a promotion, and I'm actually really, really praying for 2 promotions this month that literally would take a miracle. Like if it happens, it is 100% God. And if it happens, I will get to say that was 100% God. And so I'm saying to you that if you have ever thought about using any of the products that I provide through It Works, or if you have ever thought about joining my team, I am asking that this would be the month that you would really consider saying yes. I can't breathe when I think about what God could do with the income from the promotions that are just within reach, you know. And I don't want more money for myself. I don't want more money for my family. I don't want a bigger house. I don't want a nicer car. We live really, really carefully. Like we don't indulge a whole lot. And but I want to indulge the people around me who need it, who have nothing and just need to feel God. They need to feel that God is watching and that He cares. And because I know that for so many years, for most of our marriage, when somebody would drop off a coffee at my house or give us a gift card to go out to dinner, or you know, it didn't even have to be extravagant things, but when those things would happen, I knew that that was God taking care of us. Him saying, I know you're struggling, but I'm here and I'm watching and I'm taking care of you. But He had to do that through people. He did it through people. And I just really believe that it is time for us to be that person that God uses to provide for other people. And so if you want to join me in this journey of providing for your family, but then being able to provide above and beyond for the people around you, please say yes. And if you're like, no, I don't want to do that, but I really like some of these products and I would really like to support you by purchasing some of the products, then I ask that maybe that would be now. And I hope you hear my heart. I hope you hear me not asking for more money for myself. And if you have any questions, you can definitely message me or call me and visit my website to just check out what it is that I'm talking about. So anyways, I hope you have a fantastic day.